Hi, it's Nicole again, and today I'll be discussing The Hours, a movie directed by Stephen Daldry, starring Nicole Kidman, Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, and Ed Harris. I chose this movie for a very specific reason. I've always been kind of interested in Virginia Woolf's life, and the fact that though she was one of the first people diagnosed really with bipolar, she was still able to accomplish so much in her life, which is why in one of my earlier posts I quote her, and I start off with all the questions that she put in my mind. How is it possible for someone of such great intelligence to have so many issues and to have a mental illness of such gravity that she ends up killing herself? So this I feel like this piece really kind of combats the one that talks about just depression existing in people with the lowest of IQs, because I wouldn't ever argue that Virginia Woolf has a low IQ. But going back to the movie, so the plot line follows the story of three women. Laura, who is a woman living in the 50s, um, Clarissa, who is basically Mrs. Dalloway, and Virginia Woolf. These three women all have decisions to make, um, all of which kind of surround the same. They are all connected through Mrs. Dalloway, the book, and the story. So we see Virginia Woolf writing it, and the clip I put up, it's posted, something from YouTube. It starts with the one that says Sussex, England. Um, you see Virginia Woolf writing, her this last letter to her lover, her husband, and she's writing about how she's starting to hear voices. She's losing her mind basically, and she explains that the reason why she's about to kill herself is so that she can give him life and savor what they've had, which makes a lot of sense in a certain way. I think her discovery of this, which is then reflected in her book with Mrs. Dalloway, and which becomes one of the characters in the 2001 kind of realm of time, with Clarissa Richard, who in the movie, but not in the book. In the movie has AIDS, but in the book is only schizophrenic. But in the movie he's both. Um, that reflects onto him, and he also kills himself because he realizes he could um, savor the life and the love he's had with Clarissa by killing himself, because he no longer believes he should just live for her when it's hurting them both. That is really kind of one of the main themes in the movie overall, that these two people are just very misunderstood, Richard and Virginia. They're not necessarily insane. In fact, I would argue that the movie states that they're both these geniuses with such a keen understanding, such keen senses, and such a sharp understanding of reality that it drives them insane. It drives their mind insane. And another kind of there are a lot of parallels between these two characters in the movie. One's schizophrenic, one has bipolar. They're both kind of fighting with doctors with this and that. People in their lives, they're staying alive for someone. Virginia, her husband. Richard's living for Clarissa. And you see that they're both, poet. One's a poet who's already published a great book. He's also proven to be intelligent. He's absolutely not shown to be someone who's just wasted his life away, which is something you might think with the conditions you see him living in. But he's written. He's intelligent, absolutely intelligent. And Virginia Woolf, on the other hand, who is writing this book that we follow. And of course, we all know her name and know that she is brilliant. She's a brilliant novelist who came up with the stream of consciousness. Basically, the interesting part about this movie for me in terms of mental illnesses and intelligence is it seems to say that it's causal, which is something very extreme, I would argue, to make any assumption that it would be that the fact that they're so intelligent, so aware of the world, and have such great understanding that it drives them to insanity. And I mean, it could be a true possibility, it could be real. I can see how that's true. You can, that the realities of the world are so complex and so confounding and hard to wrap our minds around that if we did, it would hurt us. So they seem to have a different kind of view of mental illnesses overall than anything else I've seen in the media or in scientific journals, because it seems that it follows only the thought process. It's not very, there's no like mechanical or structural view of the brain, the mind, or anything, which is something that usually was what people look to. But even Laura in the movie, who other people conceive her as being crazy and cold and completely, how could she leave her child and start a new life, is shown that she finally got such a deep understanding from reading Mrs. Dalloway that she understood that the only way she could choose life and not kill everybody was by leaving. And I mean, which she had to understand that is her way of savoring everyone else's life in a certain way, including her own. I'm not going to say that I agree that's a right way to deal with something, but I definitely think it's an interesting stand to take, that you need to take control of your life. Virginia Woolf says, "Who knows me better than myself? Why are other people like giving me medication and stuff and confining me? The doctors who keep trying to tell her that what's right for her." That is, which is another statement to make about mental illnesses, that they are still functional enough to know what's right for them, and that no one can ever tell you fully how you feel or what should work for you. So again, I really recommend this movie. I think it makes a refreshing statement about people with mental illnesses. It's kind of extreme, but I think it's kind of necessary. I definitely do see its point in saying that why would we put down these people? They possibly see the world in such a clear manner that we never do. And that's what Virginia Woolf says. And her words are absolutely profound. They bring in my mind. I mean, she says at the end of the movie, to live is to look life in the face and know it for what it is, and at last to know it and love it for what it is, and then to put it away. I would never argue that she is not a brilliant person. So, I recommend this movie again. I think that's my second time of saying that. Sorry, but I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it helped you gain some insight on the movie The Hours. Thank you. Bye.